Kyiv says 400 invading troops were killed in a Ukrainian New Year's Day strike on Russian-controlled Makivka, when Moscow says just 63 soldiers were killed. The body of the late Pope Benedict XVI will lie in state inside St. Peter's Basilica for another 2 days, while thousands of Catholics come to pay their respects. Unseasonably warm temperatures in many parts of Europe are causing widespread snow shortages, wreaking havoc for ski resort operators and winter sports enthusiasts. This is alleged footage from the scene of a Ukrainian New Year's Day attack on a complex in the Russia-controlled city of Makivka. It's where Russian troops have been temporarily billeted. Ukraine claims up to 400 Russian soldiers were killed in the incident. Moscow acknowledges losses, but far fewer. As a result of a strike by 4 missiles with a highly explosive warhead on a temporary deployment point, 63 Russian servicemen were killed, said Igor Konashenkov. All the necessary assistance and support will be provided to the relatives and loved ones of the deceased servicemen. Either way, the strike could be one of the deadliest known incidents involving Russian conscripts so far and will do little for morale in Moscow. The past few days have seen several Ukrainian strikes in Russian-controlled Donetsk. It comes as Moscow sent missiles raining down on targets across Ukraine. In his nightly address, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has warned Russia may be planning a new sustained missile attack. We have information that Russia is planning a prolonged attack with Shahed, said Zelensky. Its bet may be on exhaustion of our people, our air defence, our energy sector. Once again, residents of the capital, Kyiv, are experiencing power and heating outages after Monday night's Russian strikes on energy infrastructure.
Thousands of people queued to enter the ground of Pele's former club Santos in order to pay their respects to the world-famous player. The Brazilian icon died last week, aged 82. Monday marked the end of 3 days of state mourning for the football hero. Later on Tuesday, there will be a procession through the streets of Santos to a private family burial. Ordinary Brazilians waited in file for hours to be able to say their last goodbye. With them, Neymar Santos Sr., the father of another global football star, Neymar, who kissed Pele's forehead. Today is very emotional, very sad to lose the king, but happy for what he's done for our city, for Brazil and for the world. He represented everyone, united everyone. He united clubs. That's what was great about him. That's what we're missing today. The queues went on long into the night. Fans had 24 hours to pay their last respects to the king of football, as he was known. Pele was the only player in history who was able to win 3 World Cups in his lifetime.
Catholics from around the world have been paying their respects to Pope Benedict XVI. An estimated 65,000 people filed through St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican yesterday. Meanwhile, his personal secretary has been speaking about the challenges Benedict faced during his papacy. The Church was and remains engulfed in controversies, especially over its handling of sexual abuse cases.
La parola scandalo certamente è un po' forte, ma vero è che durante il pontificato...
The word scandal is certainly a bit strong, but it's true that during the pontificate there were loads of problems. As you said, internal with the Vatican leaks and with the Institute for the Works of Religion, the Vatican Bank. This was not the first time and not the last time during Benedict XVI papacy, but it's obvious. As Pope Francis would say, the devil does not sleep. Clearly, it would always try to strike where it most hurts.
Benedict's body will lie in state in the Vatican for a 3rd day on Wednesday before a funeral mass celebrated by Pope Francis on Thursday. The UK's National Health Service is said to be in crisis as demands on A&E departments continue to pile on. Medical officials are calling the pressure intolerable and unsustainable. Multiple hospitals have declared critical incidents in recent days.
Cases in the emergency departments have exploded, with 18% more people coming into A&E compared to last year. It is estimated delays are responsible for around 500 excess deaths a week in the UK. Wildfires and droughts have marked 2022 as Spain's hottest year on record. The country recorded an average temperature of nearly 15.5 degrees Celsius, the highest since records began in 1916. It saw temperatures surge repeatedly in successive heat waves from May into October, with the mercury soaring above 40 degrees across large swathes of the country. The exceptionally warm weather has continued, with several northern cities recording record highs on New Year's Day.
Much of the Alps are looking decidedly short of snow for this time of year. Unseasonably warm winter weather in Europe's central mountains is causing headaches for ski resort operators. In Switzerland, what there is of the white stuff is said to be of the wrong kind.
Look,
Look, the snow is really wet, this mountain railways director says. It's no longer constant. It's like in spring. The snow actually has to bind, and that doesn't work with a lot of water. Wide stretches of parched grass are a sharp contrast to the recent frigid weather and blizzards in parts of the US. On a swath stretching from France to Romania, many parts of Europe are enjoying warm, sunny weather. It's upset the plans of many tourists who had been dreaming of snow during this holiday season, but instead have temperatures reminiscent of May. But skiers and skaters never fear. Forecasters say cold weather is on its way. 4 people, including a British couple, Diana and Ron Hughes, have died in a helicopter collision on Australia's Gold Coast. The rotor blades of one chopper carrying 7 people smashed into the cockpit of another with 6 people on board. Air Safety Commissioner Angus Mitchell says both helicopters belonged to the theme park and aquarium SeaWorld and crashed onto the sandbank below. Local boat owners rushed to the scene to help crash survivors until the emergency services arrived. An investigation is now underway to deliberate what occurred inside the 2 cockpits at the time of the accident.
American football player Damar Hamlin has been rushed to hospital in critical condition after collapsing during an NFL match. The Bills player, who plays safety, was involved in a violent shock to the torso after tackling the wide receiver of the opposing team, the Bengals, who was running at full speed. Hamlin, who is 24, initially got up before falling back down due to cardiac arrest. Meanwhile, both teams, visibly emotionally distressed, took a knee and prayed for his recovery. Earth, Wind & Fire drummer Fred White has died aged 67. The news was shared by his brother and bandmate Verdine White in an Instagram post. Verdine described his brother as an amazing and talented musician who is now drumming with the Angels. White joined Verdine and their brother Maurice in Earth, Wind & Fire in 1974. The band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2000.
There is a glimmer of hope for French cinema. In 2022, audience numbers were up more than 3/4 of their pre-COVID attendances, according to figures from the French National Cinema Centre. But the recovery remains fragile and partly linked to the release of the second part of the Avatar saga. Cinema themselves have had to rethink the movie experience to attract new spectators. In this Parisian complex, seats were vamped up and side panel screens were added to make for a more immersive film adventure. Other venues have opted for a more varied and eclectic cinematic experience. This Parisian cinema offers movies both old and new, from blockbusters to avant-garde classics. Prices are also kept down. Here you can expect to pay €6 for a full-price ticket and just €4 for the reduced price. And the formula seems convincing. Really, the project of this cinema that appeared here 7 years ago has been to try and attract people and all the best films of the year in one place, and to try and make it work. And as it happens, the real good surprise of 2022 is that we just had the 3rd best year in our history. The president of the French National Cinema Centre said he was confident for the year 2023, and hopes for a return to pre-pandemic levels.